Hello, this is Ramirez with Tidewater Renaissance Fighting Arts. And I feel like I owe you guys a few more videos. I'll try to post a few more this week. Uh, Life's been busy. I've had a lot of adventures over the summer, part of which I'm covering today. In addition to that, we've had some things with the club that we've had to manage, and I'm kind of a big part of that, so it's just taken a lot of my time. So, without any further ado, 2 weeks ago I just attended the H.I.L.T event in Lovettsville, Virginia. H.I.L.T stands for Historical Integrated Longsword Triathlon. And it was a very interesting event. It was a 1 day tournament, but they offered kind of the standard longsword tournament. They did offer a bunch of different categories. I was actually not there for that. I did do a little bit of line judging during the longsword event. They also did paired forms. They also did cutting, and they did what I went there for, which was a armored tournament. Um, as many of you know, I do a lot of harness fechting. I teach harness fechting, and one of the problems on the East Coast of the United States is there just isn't a lot to do. So anytime there's an event, especially a local, relatively about 3 hours away from me, but it was a local chance to do harness fechting and get to meet different people in the harness fechting community. I'm all about it, and I wanted to support it. So I took one of my students to go out. He did do the longsword tournament earlier, and then did the armored tournament. It was very interesting. It was not a traditional passage of arms, but truly more in the sport side of tournament fencing. Um, there were very specific rules. The people didn't have as much chance to discuss terms of arms and things like that. And it was, I would say it was very interesting. It was not what I expected because it was 5 passes, but each pass was a different weapon set. So you had poleaxe and dagger, then you had longsword, spear, and dagger. Then I think you had spear and dagger, then you had longsword and dagger, and then you finally had just dagger. So it was 5 passes, but if someone won the exchange, you just then moved on to the next weapon set, which didn't give you a lot of time to really explore how your opponents fought with the weapon, because by the time you figured that out, it was time to move to a different weapon set. So that was challenging. For those of you that don't do harness fechting, imagine if a match was going from, it was the best out of 5, and the first point you go to a different weapon. So in one match, you would do longsword, rapier, side sword and buckler, um, montante, and dagger. It would be an insane match even in unarmored situation. Then you add to the fact you are also wearing armor and that it was in the 90s outside where they held it. Yeah, that was a lot. I came in kind of middle of the pack, which was fine for me. Most of the guys there were half my age, so I think I did pretty well. My student actually got the Greatest Amongst Equals award, so that was kind of cool. And I think that one of the really great things about the harness fechting side of the event is we've had a lot of post-event discussion on the event chat, and we're coming to a lot of terms of what went well, what worked, what didn't work, how we want to change it up for next year. And I think this is an important event, especially because the East Coast, particularly the Mid-Atlantic, does not have a lot of harness fechting opportunities. So while we have a lot of tournaments in this area, regular HEMA tournaments, we don't have anything for harness fechting practitioners along the Mid-Atlantic and even the Northeast that they can go to and participate with others. So I think this is a really good event to have. I think that it's a reasonable drive for practitioners in Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, New York to come down to, and for those in North Carolina, Virginia, Southern Virginia, where I am, not an unreasonable trip for something to do with harness fechting, because a lot of the other big passage of arms events tend to be out in the Midwest or in the South. Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma. So those are pretty far drives. So having something that is a little more central is a really, really good thing to have access to. So I do look forward to doing it again next year. I think that with it being outside at the midpoint of August was kind of a, our opponent was the sun, and the people we were fighting were just the friends we made along the way. They have a nice event, but it was very, very hot, and that was really the test of everything. I'll talk a little bit more about the passage of arms at Pennsic in a future video. But as I said, I got to fight different people. I got to meet those people. They did have a optional dinner at the end of the event, which I went to, and mostly all the armored guys kind of stuck together in the same spot. So we got to talk about a lot of different things or different experiences, weapons. It was really a good opportunity, and those are so rare in the harness Fechten community that we have a place where we can all gather and talk about stuff. And actually, the fact they have that chat was actually very good, because we've gotten the chance to have a lot of discussion about it. So if you are doing harness Fechten and you are interested in getting to meet and fight and play with others, I recommend the event. They're looking to move it indoors for 2026. They're saying that may have an increased cost for registering for the harness Fechten part of the event, the Armored Combat Tournament, but I still think it'll probably be worth it unless they outrageously upcharge the event, because I think it was only $30 to register this year. So that all the expenses of getting there and getting back were way more than the event itself. And if they had charged a little more to be air conditioned, I would happily pay it. So I'm looking forward to H.I.L.T 2026. If you are interested, this is run by Fenris, Kunst, Fechtens. They're in the Northern Virginia, Greater DC area, and I will try to also remember to link their group in the comments below, as well as I will be linking our group, Tidewater Renaissance Fighting Arts, if you're curious about what we do. And we're based out of Norfolk, Virginia, and I will see you in the next video.